let's build some doors. Welcome to this week's episode. We're gonna build more pieces for the miniature castle. I started by cutting a thin piece of XPS insulation foam. Then I used the castle walls I built earlier as a reference to get some measurements for the doors. After drawing the rough shape, I cut out the door with my knife. I think it's a bit too tall, so I'll just cut away some of the material from the bottom. Then I made 5 more doors. More door. So I could have 6 doors, enough for 3 of the modular doors that we are crafting. There we go. I cut them all out and now it's time to carve in some textures. I started by carving the arc of stones that will be around the door. So, how are you doing? Now we can start working on the plank door. First I made 3 grooves. The middle one is deeper. Then I worked all of the cuts with a pen to get some wider grooves, which will add a lot of contrast to the paint job. I made the wood texture by carving in random grooves with a pen. Here I'm using a ball of aluminum foil to add textures to the stone surfaces. Fun fact, I've used this ball since my very first video. The grooves may become less defined after the aluminum foil, so I'll just make some of them again. I found out it's better to make the wood textures with a sharp pen. So I sharpened mine, and now I can get more defined wood grain. And the next step is... I'm just kidding. All I need is spaghetti. I'm cutting tiny spaghetti door handles, but they keep flying away. This is why I have walls. I cut a total of 12 door handles of spaghetti. Then I glued them on the doors with PVA glue. The regular white glue. The next step will be to attach 2 doors with something thin but strong enough. Cardstock, of course. I used the doors and the castle walls to get the right measurements. Then I just cut out the cardstock piece and applied some glue where the doors will be attached. As you might guess, the space between the doors is equal to the width of the castle wall. If you're new here, you should check out my other castle tutorials. I'll put them up somewhere. Once the glue has dried, it's time to paint. I started by painting the non-visible parts with black, and the stone surfaces were also painted with black. I decided to fully paint the stone surfaces first. I dry brushed with a grey. This means I only have a little paint on the brush. Then I continued by dry brushing with a lighter grey that was almost white. The stonework is done. The wooden doors were painted with brown. And by the way, these are just cheap acrylic paints. I think I had to do about 2 coats of the brown because of the black paint on some of the wood surfaces. Now I'm gonna use this dark wash by Army Painter. I applied plenty of the wash so it would get into the grooves of the planks. As you can see, this really brings out the wood textures. It starts looking nice. Then I did some dry brushing with a mixture of brown and yellow. Time to paint the spaghetti door handles with gunmetal. I applied the same wash on the handles as well. Then painted some kind of rust with brown and yellow. Ooh, a bit too much paint. Oh, but it seems to work. Yeah, there we have it. Let's see how this works. Cool, we can easily attach the doors to our castle walls. And as a bonus, the walls become steadier and won't tip as easily with the doors attached. Take a look at this. Luckily, I also made this building from equally thick foam. So, how do you like this castle terrain series I'm doing? A bit different from the monster miniatures, surely. But fear not, for I shall make more monster miniatures. The doors look a bit small compared to this miniature. It's because I use a different scale in my games. 1 centimeter equals 1 meter. Consistent and nice. Alright, here we have some decent photos of the doors. Do subscribe and like this video. And huge thanks to my new patrons Miniature Misfit and Christopher Tennant. Perhaps one day I'll make so good videos that I can find you on this list. Thanks and goodbye.